Let's talk about weight management. If you feel like you've been stuck in a constant battle, you are definitely not alone. But what if it's not about just trying harder? What if it's not about willpower at all, but about your strategy? Well, today we're going to break down a much smarter, science-backed way to think about all of this.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever been on a diet, lost the weight, felt great, only to watch it all come creeping back? It's this frustrating, demoralizing cycle that so many of us know all too well. Or how about this? Have you ever felt like your hunger and cravings are just running the show? You know that feeling of being completely powerless, like you're just going along for the ride?
And here's the big one, using food to cope. When you're stressed or bored or anxious, is food the first thing you turn to? It is incredibly common. So if any of this is ringing a bell, then you're in the right place.
Okay, so here is the absolute core idea we need to land on. Success isn't about gritting your teeth and just trying harder. The real, lasting change happens when you shift your thinking. It's about building a system, not just following another diet.
So here's how we're going to break that system down. First, we'll talk about winning the mind game. Then we'll get into the ultra-processed food trap. After that, why your personal data is so important, the secret weapon of accountability, and finally, how to pull it all together for yourself.
All right, first up, winning the mind game. This is where cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, comes in. It teaches us something really powerful. Our thoughts, not just the situations we're in, are what really drive our actions. The battle truly starts and is won right between our ears. And the key concept here is something called sabotaging thoughts. Just think about it for a second. You're having a stressful day. It's not the stress itself that makes you reach for the ice cream. No, it's the thought you have about the stress, like, I deserve this, or this is the only thing that will make me feel better. That thought is the real trigger.
So what's so cool about this is we can actually reframe these stocks. Let's look at a classic, all or nothing thinking. You eat one cookie that wasn't on the plan and your brain just screams, well, that's it, the whole day is ruined. But a helpful response isn't about pretending it didn't happen. It's about a quick recovery. It's simple logic. One mistake doesn't blow anything. You just get right back on track. Oh, and this one is brilliant. Self-deluded thinking. Come on, we all know that sneaky little voice that whispers, if nobody sees it, the calories don't count. The helpful response here is just cold, hard, undeniable logic. Your body is always watching. Learning to catch these thoughts and challenge them in real time, that is how you win the mind game.
But you know, it's not all in our heads. Our environment, especially the food that surrounds us, plays a massive role. I'm talking about the ultra-processed food trap. You know, these are the industrial-made foods with tons of additives, things you'd never find in your own kitchen. Think about most packaged snacks, sugary drinks, and frozen meals.
A really important study from the National Institutes of Health found that people eating a diet full of these ultra-processed foods unknowingly ate over 500 extra calories a day. Let that sink in. Unknowingly. They weren't even trying to eat more.
And this table just lays out the results, and they are staggering. Just look at that difference. In only 2 weeks, the group eating ultra-processed foods gained about 2 pounds. The group on the unprocessed diet, they lost about 2 pounds. And remember, both groups could eat as much as they wanted. The food itself was driving the outcome. So by just swapping out the types of food, the participants naturally ate less and lost weight. It just goes to show, limiting ultra-processed foods isn't really about willpower. It's one of the most powerful moves you can make to change the entire game.
Okay, so we've tackled our thoughts and our food environment. Now let's talk about building awareness through data. And look, self-monitoring isn't about judgment, okay? It's about information. It's like turning on a light so you can actually see what's happening. So a study in the Journal of Medical Internet Research found something really interesting. Consistency with food logging was a huge predictor of weight loss. People who logged their food at least 3 days a week saw way better results. It's the consistency that really matters. And it wasn't just about food. That same study found that weighing in at least 3 times a week was also a really powerful habit. Now, this is not about obsessing over the number on the scale. It's about creating a frequent, low-stakes feedback loop that just keeps you aware and connected to the process. And when it came to activity, the magic number was 60. Just 60 minutes of high-intensity activity per week made a significant difference. I mean, how achievable is that? That's less than 10 minutes a day. The data just shows that it's the small, consistent actions that add up to big results. Okay, pillar number 4. And this is a big one. We often think of this whole thing as a solo journey, right? But what the research and tons of personal experience shows is that connection and accountability can be your secret weapon. This quote from writer Lisa Hawashi just says it all. She used an accountability partner to reach her goals, and she said, "When I put it out in the open, it lost some of its power over me." Wow. When a struggle is no longer a secret, it just doesn't seem so intimidating anymore. Sharing it makes it manageable. And setting one of these partnerships up is actually pretty straightforward. Find a trusted friend who's also working on a goal, get really clear on what you both want to achieve in a set time frame, and then schedule quick, regular check-ins. The point isn't for them to police you. It's to create a space for shared commitment and to cheer each other on. So there we have it, our 4 pillars: mastering your mind, managing your food environment, monitoring your data, and maintaining accountability. Now let's bring it all together into one powerful, personal framework. So your personal system for success looks something like this. For your mind, you learn to challenge those sabotaging thoughts. For your food, you focus on cutting back on ultra-processed stuff. For your data, you consistently track just a few key things. And for support, you build that connection to help you stay the course. See? It's a whole system, not just some crash diet. And that brings us to the final and most important question. When you start thinking of this as a system you build, not a diet you suffer through, it changes everything. And you don't have to tackle it all at once. So looking at these 4 pillars, which one feels like the right place for you to start? What's the very first piece of your system that you're going to build?